Hello, everyone, and welcome to our unofficial Tom Ford Tuesday, where, on Tuesday, we dedicate to Tom Ford beauty. In today's video, guys, per your request, I'm going to be ranking my Tom Ford eyeshadows. This was really hard. Let's go ahead and get started. And before we get started, as you know, it's Tom Ford Tuesday, so the full face here is all Tom Ford. Everything that I used and we talk about today will be listed and linked for you down below in the description box. Okay, let me make sure I'm nice and comfortable. Okay, so yes, this was a little difficult for me, but we're going to be going from least to the most favorite, right? Yeah, okay. This quad in particular, it did not live up to the standards that I have become accustomed to with Tom Ford. It just something was off, and I just didn't find it to perform as I would have expected. And that quad is White Suede. I do believe that this was a Nordstrom exclusive. Beautiful color story. This speaks to me. This is beautiful. Every single one of these shades, I look at the colors and I say, wow, one and dones. Take your finger, just pat all over the lid. You can get smoky if you'd like. You can get dramatique if you'd like. It's all there. But there's something about this particular quad that I just couldn't get it to perform as I felt it should. And even with that, I will always find a way. Because I bought these all myself, I will find a way to make it work some way, somehow. So with this quad in particular, I'm most always just going with my finger into this little topper shade here and just apply that to the lid and be done. It's a beautiful little sparkle shade, but I just, not my favorite. White Suede. The next one is Photosynthesex. I know. Stop. Before you even, Mo, you just did a video with that and it made a beautiful look. Yeah, of course. But I don't really reach for this. It is a very pretty color story, but I don't reach for this palette as much as I'd like to. And when I do, I'm most always going into just one shade. This beautiful. Do you see that? This shade right here? Oh, yes, please. How beautiful. Like only Mr. Thomas himself can do, right? This is a beautiful shade. Now again, the other shades are as well. I'm all for colorful looks. I'm all for it when it comes to colorful looks, but I just don't reach for this palette as much as I thought I would. Next up is another beautiful palette, but I find myself reaching for others over this one. This is from the Extreme line, which is just drama, intense, beautifulness, and that is the Badass. Such a beautiful color story, but my gosh, the grit and the texture on these two glittery shades, it's just not my favorite. Not what I want to put on my eyes and have everywhere, all over my face. I mean, yes, you can, wet your brush, use a sticky base, do your makeup, your eye makeup first. But still, even through all of that, yeah, no. But there are just better quads in the line that, I think do so much better. But take away these two bottom shades, these two right here. Ooh, yes, please. Okay, so next up, the only reason this palette is, I want to say maybe lower down on my spectrum, is because one of the shades in this palette doesn't perform very well. It fades, it separates, it does not last on my lids no matter what. No matter what, and I don't know why. Leopard Sun. This is a very realistic wearing, a palette you'll want to reach for, a palette that you can create beautiful looks with. Another one that you can do one and dones with each and every shadow. The color story is phenomenal. But this yellow shade in particular does not wear well for me. It doesn't perform well. It doesn't want to stay. It fades. It starts to separate, starts to look really bad rather quickly. And that's no fun. My gosh, I cannot get this yellow to work for me. So most often I will go in with this shade and a little bit of this, and I just take my fingers sometimes with just this alone. It's very, very pretty, but I kind of, not that I wrote it off and was like, oh, I'm done with you, but I just was just a little annoyed with the fact that I couldn't get this yellow to work for me. And yellows look so beautiful, but not this one. So sorry, Leopard Sun. So this next palette I like to consider a classic because of its color story, because of the fact that it's so realistic, so wearable, something that you can totally vamp up and make dramatic looks. Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Golden Mink. The classic, the beautiful Golden Mink. Just love these two topper shades. I don't love these two bottom shades as much. I don't know what it is about the formula. This shade especially, it's so crumbly and it gets too intense too quick. So if you're not thinking and you're somewhat in a rush and you just want to blend a little, no, this is not the palette for that. But because I love these two top shades so much, I'm willing to just like omit these and just stick to these top two just on the lids. Call it a day. Absolutely beautiful. Do you see this one? Do you see how crumbly? No. But because I know how it is, I know how to work with it and work around it. And when I want to make sure to use the palette, I will kind of just go in a lot lighter and all that stuff. And of course, with any other eyeshadow palette in the world, you're not going to have the most perfect product every single time. I get it. But that's just the story with this one. So moving right along, next up we have Pretty Baby. I don't know what it is, just the name, and then I look at the colors and I'm like, yeah, that's really pretty. I want to feel pretty, so I'm going to do Pretty Baby. This is newer to me, but I've already gotten quite a few looks out of it that I really, really enjoy. So here she is. I don't really have any quarrels per se with the performance of any of the shadows. Now, I want to say this isn't her permanent spot for now. She's just here because she's newer in the collection. But, you know, we're getting acquainted still. We're still getting to know each other like any new relationship. We're not rushing. We're taking things slow and all that, you know. See? So pretty. Such a pretty baby. Getting warmer and warmer because I feel like you guys might know what my top 3 are. I don't know. Maybe if you do, I'd love for you to take a guess. Be brave and take a guess. Comment down below what you think my top 3 are. Go ahead. I'll give you a minute. Okay. All right. Now, moving on. Next up is one from the Soleil Neige collection. Here is Soleil de Ooh, a frosty, bronzy goddess goodness. Ooh, ooh, yes. This palette, I use this palette a ton. Oh my gosh. Yeah, thoroughly enjoyed this palette. Really, really, really have. But, yeah, other palettes in the collection I do use just a little bit more, if that's even possible. But this is my favorite formula. So yes, that has a lot to do with the fact that I like it so much. The wet dry formula. When I first looked at this palette, I was like, oh my gosh, okay. I'm going to have to use another palette and then just put these on top. But no, I have found ways and created many looks just using this solely. Well, as these 3 lighter shades do look similar, they're actually really different. You can kind of see right at that angle. You can wet your brush. Oh my gosh, yes. Love. I am kind of sad that you can't get this one anymore because I feel that this is definitely something that should be in everyone's collection. You know, you should be able to have this in your collection. So beautiful, especially with this wet dry formula. Now, you thought I reached for Soleil d'Hiver a lot. Oh no. From that same collection, the Soleil Neige. Whew. This palette looks horrible. Because oh man, let me try to wipe it off a little bit because she's looking a little rough. Try to make it a little more presentable. But you know, this I use the heck out of this one. This is Soleil Neige. Ooh, you see that? This darkest shade here, very similar to Badass. That gray, grungy, glittery, wet dry beautifulness. This performs outstanding. It's not glittery and chunky and feel. The texture is very smooth, very buttery, super beautiful. This is what I would have expected from that Badass. And this doesn't scatter everywhere. Now, this blue shade I did wear in my Best of Tom Ford for 2020 week. I love using this shade. This shade is my favorite when it comes to a nice dark blue, but it's like a pair of denim jeans. I can't even explain it. I love this quad so much. The color story is fantastic. And this pinky shade here is so stunning. All on its own, just all over the lid. It's like a bronzy pink shade. So beautiful. I personally don't use or reach for this white frosty that much, but these three, forget it. Forget it. Do you see this? Ooh. And do you see this? It actually is quite similar to the Badass, but there's just something, just yes. Everything. Yes, 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 yes. This is my sexy, sultry, I'm going to dinner. I really want to look good. Smoky goodness, beautifulness. And it has one of the most unique shades I think I have in my collection. That is Double Indemnity. You see this shade right here? This is like a green, silver. It's just so beautiful. And this quad creates some amazing looks. Again, with the black sparkly shadow. This blows away the one from Badass. Texture's not chunky. There's no glitter sparkles scattering everywhere. I don't know what it is about those two from Badass, but no. This palette, oh my god. Do you see this? Oh. Yes. In every way. Do you see this? Do you see this green, silver, just amazingness? Yes, please, and thank you. Yes, for Double Indemnity. Indeed. We are entering into the top 5 palettes. Now, have you guys been able to figure out which one I'm wearing on my eyes? She's a good one. A really, 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 really good one. That is African Violet. Yes. Beautiful palette. I most always will choose a blue eyeshadow over a purple. But there's something about this purple that it just works. And I want to use it. And that is what I have applied on my lower lash line and my outer eye area. Oh, African Violet, you are so beautiful in every way. If you were to just take away the purple, it would just be like more so a basic bronzy, warm palette. But the purple just adds just enough little oomph into this quad that really makes it, you know what I mean? What could be better than African Violet, you ask? Oh my gosh, let me show you. The next palette is First Frost. This is a newer quad. This came out in 2020 winter collection. This is a frosty, beautiful goddess goodness in this palette. Ooh, hoo, 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 hoo. This is frostier, lighter shades done right. I was able to create many looks from this palette and share them with you guys. This is a beautiful palette in just every way. I've reached for this palette so much ever since I have it. Use it wet, use it dry. Again, this is one of my, it's wet dry formula. It's my favorite formula. But oh, such a beautiful palette. This pinky shade, especially when you build it up, it is so stunning. And then these bronzier shades, I did a look with those bronzier shades, just beautiful. I personally never thought that I could wear these type of colors and feel like how I feel when I do. And first frost, ooh girl, first frost, bring it. So now is the moment to see if you were able to guess what the top 3 quads were. Starting off with none other. Many of you will not be surprised by this one. With good reason. It is the Extreme Mercurial. Oh, wow. This palette really did not come to play. The colors you can wear. And you can be dramatic, you can be soft, you can go in with the darker colors with a more fluffy brush to have a softer diffused color on your eye. All of these are beautiful one and dones. They all perform amazing. They are that wet dry extreme formulation and they, yes. Mercurial holds a very special place in my heart here on my channel because as many of you know, this was the palette that I went live with on my channel first. And yes. Oh, Mercurial. Okay. Oh my gosh. I can't believe it. We're down to the 2. Another one from the Soleil Neige collection. Soleil et Lune. I have nothing like this color story in my entire eyeshadow palette collection. And I mean, I don't say that lightly. I am not walking around saying that lightly because I have a lot of eyeshadows. That's my one weakness is eyeshadows and foundations and concealers. But you understand this color story is so just everything, especially this little minty green number here and this gray. Let me show you the swatches. I use this green so much, so much, especially for it being not a brown, a wearable kind of color. I use this green so much. That's just how beautiful it is. And then the best part is that you can use this whole entire palette to create a look, or you can just use this particular green or that gray or that pinky or that frosty. I love this palette. That's why she's number 2. Numero 2. No matter where, when, who, young, old, all alike, whenever I am wearing this green or even this gray on my eyes, I always have people ask me, what is that? I don't know. Yes, that is why Soleil et Lune is number 2 because it is so unique, it is so beautiful, and it's just a fun palette. You want to use it. And I am in hopes that for summer we get some nice, pretty quads. And I cannot wait for his winter collection. I can't wait for another collection, period, from Tom Ford. I want Tom Ford to come out with a whole entire collection. I am, he came out with 1 and 2 little this. No, I want a whole entire collection. I do. Now, the number 1 spot holds a very special place in my heart. This is my 2nd or 3rd of these quads. I think it's my 2nd. Yeah, it's probably my 2nd one. It was my first eyeshadow palette from Tom Ford. I'm sure it's many first when it came to Tom Ford. And it's with good reason. And I will tell you this, the first tutorial that I watched with this particular palette was from Kelsey Brianna J. She did such an amazing job, and it's just, you just never forget those things. So this is very special, very loved. I will always continue to repurchase it, and hopefully they never discontinue it, because, you know, they have this thing where these brands, you know, these brands love to just discontinue stuff, not even talking to us. Rude. Palette that I am on and on and on about is Nude Dip. Yes. Are you kidding me? This is what literally ruined me when it came to the wet dry formula. This wet dry formula, oh my gosh, I was blown away. I was like, what? I want all of them. These shadows look wet on your lid. They just look so beautiful. And I love that they're versatile. This is a more cool tone palette, but there is warmth to her. And you can make so many different eye looks. It's just so beautiful. Whether it's wet or whether it's dry, she performs like no other. Yes, please and thank you. Nude Dip will always have that special place in my heart. Always. And with very good reason. Well. I was able to rank my Tom Ford palettes. Never ever in a million years would I have thought. As I do truly enjoy them all. And even for the ones that I don't love that much, I still will use. Even if it's just one of the shadows, you know? Now that it's all done, now that the stress you know, I would definitely do this again. And thank you guys so much for requesting it. You know, I love your feedback and I love being able to give you what you ask for. So don't be shy. If you ever have any requests for me, leave them in the comments. I'm so grateful that you all have been enjoying this series here on my channel, Tom Ford Tuesday. I do have so much fun creating different looks, different videos, different concepts and such. And I'm so happy to share them all with you. You know, I am all for buying the new stuff and sharing it with you, but I'm also here to remind you, hey, let's use what I just told you to buy. You know what I mean? To re-inspire, to have you say, oh, wow, I haven't used that palette in a while. Let me pull it out. I want to inspire you to do that. And I also would love in 2021 that we get this series to be the official Tom Ford Tuesday. It's currently unofficial, but I would love for it to be recognized by Tom Ford Beauty and we can make it official. Official. That is the goal for 2021. So tag, share, let's get it official, shall we? And with all of that said, thank you all so much for allowing me to share these palettes with you and the Tom Ford Tuesday series. I appreciate you all so much. Please don't forget to give today's video a thumbs up if you've liked it. Subscribe if you haven't. Stay beautiful, guys. I will see you next Tuesday. Bye.